Hello, this is Dr. Kevin Kirk. We're going to actually make a teacup today, a teacup. Now to do this, there are several ways. Of course, we'll do this with the shapes, we'll do it with the lines. So this is one of the splines. Splines are basically lines that you can have curved and so forth. I don't want to draw it in the perspective view. This is going to be the guideline for my teacup. So I'm going to use a front or back or left or right. So I'll start here, and I'm basically going to start on the line and end on the line. So I'll try it that way. So I'll start to make a basic outline of a teacup. I can hold my shift down to keep it straight, and I can click and drag to put a little bit of a curve in. I'm going to adjust this later. Just want the basic kind of rough outline at this point of a teacup. Feel free to use reference images, that's what they're there for. And right now I'm just kind of playing around, making something very basic for this. And you want to start on the line and end up on the line roughly. Right click to end it. So I had this roughly lined up, that actually did. Zoom in a little bit and take a look. I can hit G to get rid of the grid at this point or any point. Open up the line and go to the vertices, the points of it. And I can see where it's a little bit sharp, a little bit strange. Maybe I want to grab this. Maybe I want to keep it sharp, maybe I don't. But I can change it from a corner point to anything I want. If I want to change it to smooth, it has that kind of look to it, which is kind of nice. I can grab these points and I can move them wherever I want to. I think I like that actually. Grab this point here. That's a Bezier. You can tell by the curves, control handles here. But I can adjust any way I want to. I think that looks rather fancy. Maybe we'll bring this down a bit. Okay, I'm just going to do this quickly here. Minor adjustments. Kind of get a nice flow here. But as this is just a sample and an example, I'll really speed this along. Best rule of thumb for Bezier, if you want a nice smooth curve, have these handles line up with the line as close as you can. Let's turn this into a Bezier also. Now, because I know what's coming, I might not want to do a full Bezier here, but let's find out. We can always work backwards, and by that, I mean we can always kind of change the way this looks. Do a Bezier corner here, so I can adjust that right there. Zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Do the same thing with this, do a Bezier corner. That means that instead of going out in a straight line, you can now actually bend one of these independently. There you go. So it looks pretty good, heading down through there. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, for now we'll just do this. It's going to be a bit wide up here. That's alright, bring that in a bit. And maybe this over a bit like so. That's a nice little curve there. Shouldn't hurt if you drink from it. Alright. Okay, I'm starting to play with this too much. I'll just get on with it. It's going to be a thick teacup, but that's alright. And to make this filled out, to actually make the teacup, I'll go to full 4 view here. I'm going to drop a lathe on it, so it's going to rotate around itself here. Drop a lathe on. There are a few settings in this. When you do this, you have the first thing is the align. It's going to be set properly if you draw it, but set it for max. And that's because we started on the line, ended on the line on the right, and it will set up for maximum shape like this. And rotate it, and it'll be pretty much perfect right away. Now, I want to do a few other things, just to make sure. I'll zoom in here. I'll get rid of the box there. I'll get rid of the grid here. That's a J and a G, if you want to get rid of those. A few things I'm going to mess with here, and just to double check, I'm going to hit the F9 and render it. Okay, sometimes it goes inside out. And to fix that, you can do a few things. One is to flip normals. Let's test it again. There it is, much better. Now, another thing I want to check is for the hole in the middle. That happens fairly often. See if we have one here or not. Maybe so. Little hole in the middle. Try weld core, and it should fix that. It actually fuses those center pieces together. So now it looks a lot better. I have some, let's see, F4 here, and I have the polygons about like this. Now here's what I meant by messing with it. I can go back to the vertices. I'll go back where I drew it. Now I can adjust this, and if I press this show end result, I can see the final result. Now I might not want that many vertices at that point, so I can adjust that by adjusting this line here. If I want to make it just a smooth edge, it will change the number of segments. If I want to move this down or whatever, I can start adjusting the number of segments there. Let's see. Same goes with this. And I can grab the handles, move them down and around. What I'm trying to do, I think I'll move this down further, is to have, there, that'll be alright, fewer segments in the top here. And I think that looks about right. I want fewer segments because I'm going to pull the handle of the teacup out from there. So okay, that's a really fat teacup, isn't it? Let's go back to the line, grab the whole thing, and just kind of stretch it up a bit. I think teacups are supposed to be fat. Hard to tell without using a reference. Alright, so I'll stop it there, and if I go back to the top of it, zoom around, and we can see the finished result really easily. So that looks good. And we have the basis for our teacup.